Hey guys, so this time, as I promised, I bring you a React Redux with hooks. So this is a simple component. Let me refresh this. Okay, so that is clear. And here I have a selection of sources. Let's go to Google News. Let's keep latest. Let's click search. Okay, and we receive the news. And let's go to tech. So we have some other news here, just to add another component, So it isn't that simple. So having two components, you will see how it works. Also, as I said, we're using hooks, and these hooks are on version 710 alpha. Okay, so you need to install this specific version. Let's go to the code and okay, React Redux. So you need to install this version, and well, this is the version that has the hooks. The stable version, the one you install, it doesn't have the hooks. Okay, so keep that in mind. So let's see how this works. Here is the package.json, and let's go to app.js. Okay, there's nothing. Let's go to the store, right? Because this is Redux, so we need a store. So let me see. Okay. First of all, this is just a regular Redux. I have Tongue installed, as you can see. Tongue allows to use actions. So, well, let's start. So we import Tongue. Okay, well, let me go to Tongue, Redux Tongue. So you can see middleware for Redux. Okay, with a plain basic Redux store, you can only do simple synchronous updates by dispatching an action. Middleware extends the store's abilities and let you write async logic that interacts with the store. Okay, so we can have this kind of actions with Tongue. Okay, so we will take a look at that in a bit. So let's keep with the store. This is a simple Redux store. It's nothing new except that I'm not using logger, Redux logger. So importing the apply middleware and create a store. Okay, apply middleware allows you to have the middleware working, in this case Tongue, and the create store allows us to create the store using the reducers and passing the middleware. Okay, the reducers are coming from this folder reducers, and at the end we export the store because we need to use it on our component. So let's go to reducers. Let's go to this main reducer. Okay, that this is where we are going to add every single reducer we need. Okay, so we need to import combined reducers in order to get inside this constant reducer or other reducers. So we import fetch tech and custom search, each one from its directory. Okay, that are these two reducers. So let's take a look at fetch tech. That is just a simple reducer. If you have used Redux, the normal version of Redux, okay, you can see that this is nothing new. So what is this thing doing? It's just well, we're exporting this fetch tech that, as the initial state is having this tech news that is an array. Okay, you will see how we can interact with this using the hooks and scaling the action. If the type of the action, okay, that we are receiving is fetch tech, okay, then we will return the tech news with this the state, and the tech news will have this payload, and then we just going to, if nothing dispatches this action, this type, then we're going to return the state. Okay, it's the same for our custom search that is also having this state that is an object, and inside has this custom news that is just an empty array. We're checking here for the type fetch custom news and returning the changed state with the updated state, with the payload. And if nothing changes, then we just return the state. So remember to export your reducer, and all that. These two reducers, fetch tech and custom search, are going to be inside our constant reducers. We use the combined reducers that we have imported here from Redux, okay, and we give a name, the name we want. In this case, I'm just using this capitalized version of the reducer name, so it's fetch tech and custom search. Okay, that's all for this for the reducers, just normal reducers. Okay, and as I said, we import the reducers here and we create a store using the reducers and the middleware that we have here. So let's keep moving to the app.js. No, I don't have it. Okay, so React router. I'm using React router DOM to enable routing. Okay, so that's that. So let's go back to app.js. So in this case, we need to import the store from our store folder. Okay, this store, we need to import it. Remember that we are exporting this default store. Okay, we're exporting the store. So let's go to app.js. And we import the store from store, and we import the provider from react-redux. Okay, this is just the React router DOM and the routes. Okay, if you want to see the routes, let's go to routes, and here are the routes, just the main and the tech. And in the root, we're going to give, or the main component is going to be displayed, and with the tech route, we're going to render the tech component. Okay, so close that. And this is not it. I don't want to go there still yet. So remember that with Redux, we need to wrap our main component. Okay, in this case is the app, it's this div class name app. We need to wrap it with our provider that we have imported here. Okay, and the provider receives a attribute, okay, that is the store that we're going to pass. So the store, this store, okay, is what we are exporting here from the store and importing here inside this store variable, and this is what we're using for the store. Okay, this is simple Redux, a straightforward Redux. Okay, so now let's see. This won't be a lengthy video, as I can see, because you should already know how to use Redux. If not, we will build something, a little thing, a little wear app with Redux and this kind of pattern. So don't worry about it. We will have a Redux. I think I will be using hooks too, because it seems Redux is moving forward to that. So also I have other Redux code reviews with the full connect and things like that. So you will see what changes are here. So as I said, we already have the provider here providing the store. So let's go to what we need to check. That first of all, let me show you that we are not connecting anything here, and inside the tech that we are not connecting anything here. We don't need to use the connect anymore with the map state to probes and map dispatch. Okay, we don't need to use that anymore. What we need to do in this version of Redux, we need to get this use selector and use this patch from our React Redux. Okay, even they have this on introduction quick start. No, that's not it. On hooks, next API hooks. So yeah, they have this. Let me see. Reducer. Okay, they have here the documentation. Let me see something. Okay, here it is. I forgot to tell you that. You will need to install this version because I was like, where the hell is that? Okay, so this is the 7.1 Alpha 5 documentation. Nothing else. Okay, I will add into the description of the video, because I can remember the specific how can I say this? The specific because I think you need to add at next, but I can remember if it was that or the version, but I will add the way to install it, so don't worry about it. Okay, into the description of the video. So let's continue. So we have this import use selector and uses patch from React Redux, and since we are going here, we are going to this is the main component that is, let me close this, and this is done. Okay, let me close this. This is the main component. Okay, and let me open the console. So here we're receiving an array of 0 and then an array of 10, that is the news. Okay, and we're receiving this object of sources that are all the sources coming from the news API. Okay, so also here we need use state and use effect. You will see why in a second. So this is the main component, and well, let's start with this. So we need the new sources. We need something to store the new sources. That is going to be the sources constant. And remember that set sources is going to be the function that adds the that changes the state for sources. Okay, so we need this use state, and inside I'm just passing an empty array. Okay, because this is the initial state. Equally for source, that this is the source that we are going to use. You can see that we have this Google News that is from okay, let me use CNN. Let me close this. So we're receiving CNN, and this is these news are coming from CNN. Okay, so this is our source among the sources we're going to choose one source, okay, and the set source is going to change the state according to that. So in this case, since it's only one source, we're going to use the initial state of an empty string. Same for this, we're going to add the relevance, okay, and use set relevance to set the state for the relevance, and in this case, since it's just a string, we're going to use an empty string for the initial state. So how we connect Redux? We connect Redux using the useSelector, okay. Remember that we used to have this connect into the export, okay. We needed to use connect to unpass or unwrap our component inside that. So okay, we are here to connect Redux. What useSelector does, okay, let me first start with, we need to get this constant, okay, custom news selector. What is custom news? Custom news, what the hell I'm doing? Custom news selector is going to use this useSelector. What is this useSelector? Is we need to pass a state, but from that state we're going to get the part that we want to use. Okay, so you remember this? Let me go to my reducer. This is what we are getting there. So what useSelector does is allows you to grab a part of the state, okay, but in this case we're using in this case we're going to use this custom search that is the reducer. We're connecting the reducer, okay, because let me show you no, this is not it. Okay, you can see what we are having for the initial state and what we can expect. Okay, we have this custom news and this tech news. This is our initial state for each of the reducers. But here, because I was checking a tutorial and I was like, it was a simple, I think, to do app that it has a simple, it was pretty simple. Okay, and the thing is that I thought that this was going to get the state that was inside, okay, this. I thought that it was using this, but no, we're using the reducer. We're connecting to the reducer, okay, inside the state. So that's it. So remember that you need to pass a state, and from the state you need to get what you are the reducer name. This is the connect, okay, the reducer name, so you can dispatch the action into that. So next step is to dispatch the hook, where we're not dispatching here, but we're just creating this constant dispatch and getting this use dispatch, okay. So this is a function, constant custom news, that we are passing the source. What is the source? The source, remember that we are choosing something here, okay, and we are displaying that source here. So that is our source and the relevance. So this is actually the form. Nope. Okay, sometimes it's the same, top and latest is the same on the API. And we're going to dispatch what? We need to dispatch the action. So we need to dispatch this fetch custom news, passing the source and the relevance. So let's go back here to the top. In line 5, where we have this import fetch custom news, that is the action. Okay, let's go to actions, fetch custom news. And note that we're exporting this function fetch custom news with the source. It's expecting a source and a relevance. Okay, The return is going to be this function that is getting the dispatch and is just fetching the article from the source, the one we specify here, and the relevance we specify here. And also this is the API key. You need to pass the API key. And we're going to return this, okay, a response JSON, and then pass the dispatch. This is returning a promise, remember that. And this response is this response JSON. So we're going to dispatch the type of action, that is fetch custom news, okay, and pass the payload response articles. Okay, so let me go back to reducers. So this is what we are the action we are expecting here, that is fetch custom news. Okay, so that's we are passing. That's what we are dispatching. So this is dispatching just the action. So let me recap a little bit. Use selector is using the reducer, okay, and dispatch. This use dispatch is going to dispatch the action with, in this case, I'm expecting a source and a relevance from the form, so I'm passing that. So let's keep going. So we are getting the sources. So if I go up here, I click this arrow and we get, we have all the sources. So we need to fetch this news API or version 1 sources. In order to get the sources, so I'm consoling the sources and returning this JSON. So this JSON now is the response, and we need to set the sources to the response sources in order to fill these options. Okay, I hope it's not that difficult to understand. As I said, we have these sources that are going to be, or this constant sources is going to be all the sources we have. Okay, so we need these set sources to specify. That's why we have this array, this empty array, because sources is going to have an array. Okay, an array of all the sources that we are getting from these news API sources. Okay, so we set our sources to these response sources, that is the array of all the sources we have, and inside the use effect we just run this get sources, that is this function, in order to set our sources according to the API sources that we receive. Okay, so where we are using that, let me take a look at it. So we're using here, this is the form, okay, that on submit is going to use this get news. We're going to take a look at that in a bit. So I'm using this select, and on change we're going to specify the value that this select is this, okay, and the other select has also the same thing. Okay, this is the select on change that is managing the latest and the top relevance. So this select is the options, the sources, I mean. So remember that our sources now at this point have the array of sources. Okay, so let's recap a little bit. In case you're not sure about what is going on, we use this set sources in line 10. Here in line 24, okay, is the function that is adding the state or setting the state to our sources, that is a constant. Okay, since it's an array, we're passing an empty array. As initial state, we know that it's an array. Okay, and we expect it to be an array. So here now, after we pass this set sources, now sources is an array of sources from the API. Okay, that is all the sources. Okay, that's why I'm using where is it? Response.sources, because these sources is in this array. Okay, and this array now is our sources constant up here. Nope, that's not it. Here on line 10. So we only need to map and get the source, okay, and return for each single source we receive an option, and that's why we have up to 68 sources here, and that's it. That's where our sources are coming from. Now on submit, when we click this search using whatever we have here, let's go to latest. Okay, we're running this action that is get news. So this get news, okay, is this thing. So we're preventing the default first. We're consoling the source. Remember that the source is this input. So this is the source, okay, what is being consoled. So we're checking if source is empty or source is nothing, where I am getting this. This is the first value. When we click this select an option, this is the value that it has by default. Okay, you can also add the selected attribute if you want, but I'm just going to use the value nothing and check if, okay, let me show you. Select an option. Okay, we're going to receive there is no source selected because we are having, or we're getting this nothing as a value. We just console that and avoid all the searching. Else, if we receive something, meaning that the user just clicked one of the sources, we're going to use this get custom news, okay, that receive the source and the relevance. At this point, source and relevance are now fulfilled, okay, from the form, from this set relevance and set source. Where am I? Get news. Okay. So let me check something because I'm lost. Nope. It's Control F. Get custom news. Okay, I was like, so you can see that here we are running get custom news with the source and relevance, and where we are getting this, from where we are getting this custom news, get custom news, lol, from this action. So this is the actual action we're going to run. Okay, so we are passing the source and relevance, and we're dispatching the fetch custom news with the source and relevance. And I'm consoling this custom news selector, custom news. So let me get custom news selector. There are 5. Let me get the first instance. Okay, so you can see we have this custom news selector here that is getting the state, this custom search inside the state. Okay, so now since we're connected to the reducer is returning us the state. So now from this custom new selector, we can have this custom news. I hope this is not that difficult to understand, but this custom news coming from the selector we already have is nope, let's go to the reducer. It's the reducer. Is this custom news? Okay, is this empty array? This is now what we're getting from the reducer we used. Okay, this is the part of the state that we are selecting there. Okay, so use selector, what it's going to do is grab the reducer, and inside the reducer we can access the state. Okay, so this custom news selector is going to have a property called custom news, that is this custom news, the initial state we are passing to this custom search. Okay, so now we can access the custom news from the custom news selector. Okay, and we are checking if this custom news selector, that is a reducer, has the part of the state we want, and the length of that is above 0. Okay, then we're going to use this news that we have specified here as let news. We're going to use this news and assign it this div class name news, and inside that we're going to use this custom news selector that is a reducer, the custom news. Okay, that is what we have inside the state is the array. Okay, and we can now map that. I'm passing X because why not? You can pass news or post or whatever you want. And we are receiving now, we're returning. Remember that after map we need to return something, and we're returning this div class name post with the key that is going to be a title and an image, the title and the description. So we are receiving all these results. Okay, I don't know, ABC News. Okay, we're receiving all these results that are these 10 results. And if our custom news selector, custom news length is not about to 0, meaning that there is nothing inside the news selector, as when we are just starting the app, we're going to just render this select a source and relevance from the form. Okay, so our news is going to be this paragraph. In case the length is less, it's 0, no less than 0, is 0. So that ends. Okay, and here we are passing the news. That, remember, that is going to be this div class name news that is going to have all the news inside. So let's go to the other component that is simpler, because we don't have this form. That's why I added another component. So let's go to tech, and this component is only returning this tech news. Oh, sorry. So let's go to tech. We're using just use effect. Damn. And use selector uses patch from react-redux, because we need to connect and to run the action. Okay, now you know what is going on. And the fetch tag, that is the action. Let's go to action. Okay, is this fetch tag that is returning this function that is getting the dispatch and is fetching, in this case, a GET request to this URL that is getting the articles, returning the response.json, and this response.json now inside this then is this response, and you are going to dispatch this type fetch tech with the payload response articles. Okay, that this response is going to have these articles inside. So that's it for that. Let's close this and let's go to tech. So this is a tech component. This is a simpler, a simpler component. Okay, so we use Redux and dispatch the action. We use this text selector. That is, this use selector the state and the part of the reducer we want to have. Okay, that is this state fetch tech. That is fetch tech. Okay, note the fetch tech with a capitalized. Let's go back to tech and fetch tech capitalized. Okay, so we can access that inside this state. We create the dispatch and we run this get tech news. Okay, since we're not expecting or we don't need to pass anything, so let's go back to the action. Okay, we are not passing anything to the reducer, to the action I mean, so we don't need to pass anything inside our function. We're just going to run the fetch tech action, okay, inside the dispatch, and we need this use effect because we want to have it when the component mounts, and when the component gets destroyed, it's just going to have this empty array. Okay, so this is pretty simple. Remember now that once this is run or this is run, well, once this runs, we're going to receive this text selector with a text news option or attribute, that is the state we have here, that is an empty array. Okay, and since it's going to run when the component mounts, I don't need to check because at this moment I know that it always is going to return something. Okay, I'm going to just map it and use the same return a div class name post with the key as the title, an image, and the title and description. Okay, we don't need to use connect anymore, and that's it. So remember that this use selector is going to return or is going to receive this state, and from the state we're going to get your reducer, the reducer name. Okay, in case you're going to use it like this, you need to get this reducer name, either fetch tech or custom search or whatever reducer you have. Okay, so this is not it. Components. Okay, and the dispatch. Okay, you need to import. Forgot to explain this. Importing just the fetch tech action, that is this one. Okay, the one that is fetching the information, and use effect. If you want it to run when the component starts, when the component is mounted, and I think that's it. I know that this one, is a little bit complicated because we're using the form. Okay, react-redux hooks, because we're using the form, and we need to get the sources. Okay, okay, this is hard coded. and we need to do some more steps before connecting our um, reducer and dispatching our actions. So yeah, I think that's it. And if you have any question, okay, just let me know, and you will have this repo. So I think that's it. I think this is the end of the React videos with hooks. Oh no, there's still one more, because I told you that I was going to create a tutorial, a simple weather app. Okay, so maybe we could have that this same week, just to get rid of that for the beginners that still don't get how this thing is working. And then I think we will be done with React this week. And for the next week, I think we're going to have mini stack. I have a mini stack application that is similar to the MERN that we have in the channel. Yeah, I think we're going to do that. So, okay, so this is it. This is the React Redux with the hooks. Remember that this is in the alpha version, okay? And I will add you the command you need to add to install these tools, this Redux version, and use the hooks, okay? So, okay, that's it, and see you on the next one.